To make this chair, I'm using oak, just because that's what I had lying around. I start off by ripping everything down to 1.5-inch strips. Next I need 2 pieces, 36 inches long with a 32-degree cut. These are going to be for the front legs and back. It's just one long piece that leans back like this. I also need 3 cross supports. These are all going to be 16 inches long. Now the way these fit together with the sides, 2 of them are going on the upper side because these are going to be a back support, and then 1 is lower just for extra strength. Now one other thing is I'm going to round over all the pieces before assembly just to soften the edges. This angle side is going to be on the ground, so starting from the flat side, I'm going to attach the back braces 2 and 4.5 inches from that end. I'm also angling these supports. I'm drawing a line 2 inches from 6 inches, and that's how these are going to be connected. I'm using screws to assemble this chair, but dominoes or dowels would be really good choices if you have one of those. For the bottom support, I'm adding this 6 inches from the end, but that also doesn't need to be exact. One tip is to sand down all of the parts ahead of time because it's really hard later to get in all the nooks and crannies. Another is to glue and screw parts together one edge at a time because it helps with alignment. Now that the back is done, we need the other set of legs. These are going to go from the seat and then cross through this behind it to the back. To make that, I'm going to cut 2 pieces 23.5 inches with a 15-degree cut on one end. This has to fit in between that initial back support piece, so I'm going to plop the pieces down and measure between them for the cross supports. Something else I need before assembling this is some 3/8 inch slots going along these legs. They're going to be measured 7.25 inches to 14.25 inches from the top of the legs, which is the flat side. Now I'm actually only going to add 1 cross support. It's going to be 3.25 inches from the bottom, which is the angled side. And with that, the leg support is done, and you can see here, these fit together like this, and the seat is going to span the 2. For the seat, I'm going to cut out 2 seat supports at 17.25 inches. And I'm going to measure just like before, because the seat has to fit in between that back support. So I end up needing 8 slats that are 13 3/8 inches long. I'm following a slightly different process for assembling the seat. I'm starting off by just gluing together all the slats and 2 side supports first. After the glue is dry, that's when I go back and add screws to strengthen everything up, because this just made the whole thing a lot easier. Now I'm prepping for the assembly of the entire chair, and the first thing I'm doing is drilling a 3/8 inch hole 7 inches from the back of the seat. I then add another 1 3/8 inches from the back as well. Moving on to this cross leg support piece, I'm adding holes 3/4 inches from the top on either side. And lastly, for the back piece, I'm adding holes 17 3/4 inches and 25 1/4 inches from the bottom. Moving on to assembly, I started off with the seat axle, which connects the seat and the main back support piece here where it can pivot. I used a 3/8 inch oak dowel, which I don't think is necessarily strong enough, so threaded rod probably would have been a better choice. Next, I attached the smaller support piece to the main back support, and all I did is use some oak dowels to pin these together where it can rotate. I also used pins through the slots here, so those holes in the back of the seat fit right through to the slot where it can slide as it folds. One last thing you can do is add some brads just to pin the oak dowels in place so they don't move.